As you close your eyes and sit down comfortably to meditate, what really happens? The world has stood still. World has disappeared. As your senses have been dulled down in the quiet atmosphere. You are sitting steadily and just observing the breath. Whether you want it or not, the breath keeps coming like ocean waves on which you have no control. The breath is something that is that vital to your body, is being controlled by some unknown forces which forces you to breathe. So realize the presence of this vast, unknown field of unknowable force that is keeping you alive. So just observe the breath, and something as vital as the breath for your body is under something else's command, wish, whatever you call that. The body is quiet. Breath is going in and out. Just observe the breath. Whatever you observe, that is a bigger picture. Whatever is being observed becomes small. The observer becomes big, more powerful. Body is dumb, but it is being inflated and deflated by some higher forces. And part of that higher force is within you, because now you're observing your breath. So you become bigger than the breath. You are aware of the breath. With every single breath, the hint of that universal existence comes in your body and then leaves your body. Just the way sand grains sitting on the beach are bathed by this waves and waves of ocean. The whole ocean does not come to the beach, but with every wave it brings the message that there is something called the ocean, which is infinitely big, something that is beyond our comprehension of the finite world we have been living. The beach may be 1 mile, 2 mile, 5 mile, 10 mile big, but ocean is millions of miles big, and it is touching the shoreline in a continuous rhythmic fashion. So the consciousness which is out there is making your body breathe in and out. Breathing itself seems to be giving us the indication of something vast, something that is beyond your body, your mind. So just be aware of it. As your breath settles, what remains is your awareness. Awareness is not something that moves. It just is. The awareness is the reality. Everything else is unreal. The world, the physical world, has penetrated into you only as thoughts. All the series of events that have taken place in your life for all these years, and they are happening in a day-to-day life, have come into your head, and your mind keeps on thinking about those things. But think again. Every event that took place in your life, whether it is your interaction with your spouse, your children, your house, your car, your job, the trees, the rivers, suns, sunrise, sunset, all these reactions, now they are in your head. Your head is not big enough to absorb the world, but somehow the world has penetrated into your head in the form of your mind. Everything exists. It could be the fragrance of the rose that you have smelled 5 years ago. You still remember? Somebody told you something. You're holding on to it. As you keep looking at your thoughts, looks like you just have no control on these thoughts. Your mind keeps on thinking about those events or the events of the future that are going to come. But somehow these events don't have the same charm as your awareness. All these events that take place in the world, whether for you or for anybody else, all the connections that we make with other people, objects, or situations, the only way we can connect with these is through our awareness, consciousness. If we were in coma, even with the intact body and and intact ability of the mind, we still will not be able to connect. The ultimate powerhouse that makes us function is our life force, the awareness. The awareness gives the meaning to every interaction that takes place. Even if you look at another person, he becomes aware of you, you become aware of him. It is the awareness on your part connecting to the awareness of the other person. While you are connecting, the body and the mind becomes the medium through which this awareness flows and the connection gets established. If it is not a person and an object, the awareness filters from inside of you through the mind and the body. It connects with the object. The object may not be alive, but realize something. Every single reaction involves presence of awareness. And this is replicated in millions and millions of people, animals, trees, their lives, their lifespans are passed, bathed in this awareness. The awareness that you have when you perceive the world cannot be different than the awareness of an earthworm looking for food, because that earthworm is definitely conscious and aware what it is looking for. A tiny ant which is passing by, it definitely has an objective on its mind, where it is going, why is it going, what is the purpose of her going, to bring the food, to find the shelter, to find its home, whatever. But it in a very subtle way, in a microscopic way, it does have awareness that controls its body. And a maybe primitive mind that we may think is primitive compared to ours, but it does have a mind of its own. So everything that is happening in the universe has a purpose. There is purpose everywhere. And this purpose is fulfilled in this vast existence of this awareness that connects everything to everything. Everything, everybody, everything is bathing in this beautiful ocean of existence and awareness. So every event that happened in your life, ever, every one of them was bathed by the consciousness, and it was made possible by your existence, because existence that came to you after you were born came along with rudimentary awareness, which blossomed into full awareness. But awareness is what it is. Whenever the events took place, they took place in the big sphere of awareness that connected you to another person or an object or a situation. So every event was stamped by the awareness. Now your mind keeps on bringing those events back into the present. Or you project your future based on the past. How can you compare the 100% full awareness, the consciousness that made those events happen with what you are trying to do in the form of thoughts? Thoughts are weak, faint, and you have to put a lot of efforts to think, bring those events into the present moment. The crystal clarity of the awareness gets disturbed. And it's almost like in a crystal clear water, you're bringing the mud, the dust that makes everything cloudy. The awareness in its own original state has no impurities, but our mind is used to bringing the past into the present. That is just like we try to dream about the objects or people when we go to sleep at night. But the dreams are replication of the real world outside. So obviously they're faint, weak, confused. Same way, when the event takes place in your life, in the present moment, it is very alive, very clear. The only reason there is a witness. The witness is the awareness. Awareness feeds you. Awareness feeds another person, or a bird, or an animal. The awareness connects you all in that particular moment. So everything is alive, full of awareness. Awareness touches everything. So it has made this event possible by bringing various people, objects together and create a situation. If this event passes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, you try to remember, you will have a fainter version of it. And yet, mind likes it, remembers it. But it's not the same as the original event itself, which was full of consciousness everywhere. So mind creates the past because the past is gone. It is continuously being replaced by the present moment. And the present moment is where the action is, the transformation is, the creation is, action is. If in one class 100 people are sitting, they all are transforming at any given moment. This transformation is the power of consciousness that is making it happen. People's bodies are breathing, Every cell of the body is changing. Old cells are dropping. New cells are being formed. Hearts are beating. Lungs are breathing. All these processes are continuously happening while the people have gathered. And this tremendous force called consciousness is connecting everybody. So the present moment is created by the consciousness. But mind is weird. It does not like this fresh event that is unfolding every single second, and it keeps going to play with the mud, which is already past. It is faint, it is useless, it cannot be changed, but that's what we are right now. Same way, mind is worried about the future based on the experiences of the past. There were things that you liked, you want them to happen again. There were things that you did not like and you don't want those to happen. That's how you try to manage your future based on your fears of past or the enjoyments of the past. You are continuously running back and forth, never realizing that while you are thinking, the present moment is already passing by, and you did not enjoy that. The present moment is the most alive moment in your life, every single moment. This consciousness is knocking on your door and you are not answering because you are busy managing your past and recreating your future. And the only process that does this is your thinking. The consciousness created you because at one time there was only consciousness, no universe. From the evolution of millions of years, you have come into existence. There was no thinking of yours available at that time because you did not exist. How important this thinking could be. Thinking is your ability to touch the past and forecast the future. It gives you a mini version of capacity to create the world. But you with your body and so-called sophisticated mind are the products of something vast, infinite, universal consciousness. The consciousness that connects not just you but millions of creatures and birds and mountains and rivers, and like a big orchestra. Everything working in a rhythmic fashion. Everything working in a very coordinated fashion. And we are neglecting. Like the ocean waves is coming to us every single moment. And we are neglecting it. The only reason we are neglecting it is we consider the past and the future more important. So in the process of meditation, realize, be aware of your breath, and then pick up the awareness, which is the small version of the vast consciousness that is bathing you right now. It is here. By being aware, you are simply neglecting the past and the future. To be in the present moment, you don't need your mind. You don't need your past. You don't need your future. You just have to be aware. Awareness is bright. It is powerful. It is the awakeness, alertness. All of a sudden, you will realize that this awareness is what you are, because you can be aware of your body. You can be aware of your mind. Even the mind cannot function without the awareness. It is tiring to connect with the past, trying to connect with the future. It is relaxing. Just merge with the present consciousness. The awareness, which is transcendental, can become aware of your body and the mind, which have been changing all the time. But the awareness has to be steady. It is steady. As you remain aware of the breathing, same way you become aware of your mind running and realize the importance of awareness, the consciousness, which was present from day one you were born till today. Every single event that you pass through, this consciousness was always with you. This consciousness is your permanent companion that you have neglected for all these years. All the events of your joy, your suffering, your gains, your losses, your complexes, your interactions with everyone around you, this consciousness was always there as a witness. Through your wedding, attending people's funerals, enjoying the hikes in the woods, enjoying the delicious foods in the restaurant, not a single moment this consciousness has left you. But we have neglected this consciousness. Now it's time to become friends with this consciousness and just remain conscious of this consciousness. That is the most important thing ever. Your body could have failed you. You might have wanted to stay young forever, but it may not have happened. You might have wanted to stay young all the time, but you're not young anymore. Your connections in the world might have failed you, A lot of connections you thought were permanent have been broken, and the connections that you never wanted have happened. All these things have come and gone. But your consciousness, which you've been neglecting for all this time, was always there, and it is still here in the present moment. So this present moment is the most precious moment that is there right now, because it unites you with your longtime friend who had never left you. So it is time to unite with it and remain in the fully conscious, aware state. Forget about the past. Forget about the future. It is your mind that's trying to do that. But mind is infinitely smaller than this vast consciousness which is spread throughout the universe, and it is within you through your body. By transcending it, and through your mind transcending it, you connect with this vast ocean of consciousness that is present in you. Remind you of its existence with your every single breath, like an ocean wave. So just bathe in this ocean of consciousness. Remain conscious, awake, alert, and you will notice the miracle has happened. The peace has come. For the first time. The past has been neglected. Future has been neglected. All the past time that you have failed to connect with the consciousness, now you are making up for it. You are connecting with your most important friend, your consciousness. You merging with him or her or it, whatever you call. It is the consciousness which is neutral. It is steady. It is peaceful. It does not have a noise of the past events, because events were not important. It was your consciousness that made those events possible. And even if you are projecting the future and you are anxious, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? All these anxieties of the future will be still showing that the events will unfold in your life as the time goes. But those projected future events, they are dull, they are unpredictable, and you have no control on it. They will become present moment someday. And if you are worried, anxious, suffering with doubts, regrets, you're going to miss the present moment again. And those events, when they do happen, they will have to go through the checkpoint of the awareness which is present only in the present moment. So it will pass through the light of awareness and it will become the past again. So this continuous cycle is beyond your control. And none of these are possible without the light of consciousness. So don't worry about what is gone, and don't worry about what is to come. The most important thing is the light of consciousness that is bathing you right now. And this light is universal, more powerful than millions of suns. It is your high state of awareness that's more important than even your body and the mind and definitely the world. Everything is gonna keep changing. Your awareness is universal. Stay in this state of awareness 24/7. Then you have a perfect company which never slips away, never gets old, never gets altered, because consciousness is the spirit which is beyond the matter. The world cannot touch it, and you can remain in this state of awareness perpetually. At this level, there is no time, because time was created by the mind by connecting your past and connecting to the future. The oscillations of the mind have been useless, because even those oscillations take place in the vast medium of consciousness. So ultimate reality is the consciousness in the present moment, where there is no stress, there is no suffering, because the events are not important. But the consciousness is, without which nothing is possible. So merge into this shunyata. This is emptiness, full of silence, full of peace. There are no desires, because this is what you are. No one can take it away from you. And with this vast consciousness, which is totally peaceful, what more do you need from the world? Whatever you get from the world will stay with you only for a moment, the present moment. As soon as the present moment leaves, the objects change, body changes, mind changes. You are trying to get something from the world, as if you're trying to catch a single air molecule from the tornado that is blowing continuously. It's like trying to pick up a speck of dust from the twister. Don't do that. Remain conscious. Leave the storm called life in its own state. That is the sansara that changes all the time. So remain immersed in this consciousness and just be a witness of the storm called life, which is a perpetual storm that's going to go on all the time. But you have transcended it because consciousness, which is a vast medium, is making this storm called life possible. So you remain in the state of consciousness in its pristine glory, without any desires, without any ideas, beliefs. Any ideas to acquire anything, or any idea of giving anything to anyone. Neglect the mind, because mind has been fascinated with the objects and people and situations. But now you have found the higher reality. Once you have that, what else can you have?